Hi, everybody. Terry Anney broadcasting from Studio B at Radio Center here in Saginaw, Michigan, where today we want to talk a little bit about sugar beets. Sugar beets, the sugar harvest is well underway here in Michigan, and I can't think of a better time to talk about sugar beets than right now. And we've got a player or two in the sugar beet industry that we want to talk to this morning. First of all, let me introduce Doug Ruppel. Doug is the area business manager, the Michigan Sugar and Western South Area Sugar Association areas. Doug, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Terry. Very well, thank you.
It looks like we've got some sunshine out there and some dry weather, so the sugar beet harvest should be well underway as far as the pre-harvest goes. We don't really start piling beets till when?
In October, typically. I don't know what the permanent pile date is, but it's usually mid-October.
And as far as the other areas of the country that you're involved with, how far along are they, Doug?
They started a couple weeks after us, Terry, but they're kind of in the pre-pile mode themselves, like out in Colorado and Nebraska. They're just starting to do some early dig as well to get the factories up and running, kind of like we are here in Michigan.
Yeah, and you guys have to be really happy with some of the results from what I understand in other parts of the country. We'll talk about that in just a moment or two, but there's another person that we want to talk to here right away. Doug, who is this guy anyway?
Well, this guy is the president of Hilleshg Seeds US. He's my boss, my reporting manager. I keep him pretty busy, and he was just out here and visited in Michigan last week and did a big tour.
So Tyler Ring, come on in right now. Tyler, where are you this morning?
Hey, Terry, I am in Murdoch, Minnesota. I'm in the Southern Minnesota Beet Sugar Growing Cooperative. We're sitting in an OBT and a proprietary trial of Hilleshög seed as well.
What are you seeing out there, Tyler?
Well, we've got, I think, here in Southern Minnesota, we've got an excellent day, other than a little overcast from some of the smoke that's coming in from the western parts of the state. But we've got a really nice OVT here in Murdoch and really a nice crop in southern Minnesota this year.
Has it been a good year so far?
It certainly has. I think across the country, we certainly have had our challenges. It's been a challenging spring in many parts around the U.S. Certainly there was high replant in the western part of the U.S. Some of the challenges that you folks have had in the Michigan market as well. But all in all, it was a pretty good growing conditions throughout from east to west in the U.S. And I think a majority of the cooperatives are very happy with the crop that's coming this year.
Doug, in your conversations with Tyler, you've obviously talked about a lot of things as far as the production goes this year. The two of you, what have you talked about? What have you discussed so far in this campaign?
I guess I can get into that. We had a real early spring here in Michigan, and we got a good amount of acreage planted, and to no avail, we had some late frost come in. So we've been really busy making sure our growers have the seed supply that they need to replant and make sure seed is on hand in case of any other weather emergencies.
And Tyler, seed availability, that's got to be the key when it comes to operating a business like you operate.
No, certainly. We want to make sure that we've got the right seed, the right size, the right varieties for our customer to begin with. But certainly when Mother Nature calls, we want to make sure that we have the appropriate replant seed to be positioned and get into the marketplace as quickly as possible. This year was a challenge, certainly, as certain parts of the country had a third of their cooperatives replanted. So we had to put our team in action several different times to run the facility which was in case it was on Saturdays and Sundays to make sure that our customers had seed in a timely manner. And I think we were able to do a good job at getting that in the hands of the grower as soon as possible.
And again, it all depends and it all falls back on the personnel, the individuals that do the work. And first of all, Tyler, I have to assume that you're very pleased with the personnel that you have right now in place for your company.
We certainly are. I think, a couple things. Hilleshg has, we are investing in our people. I think that's first and foremost. And I think Doug will get into a little bit of a discussion with some of his new dealer force in the Michigan market. But we've added a couple new sales individuals for us, dedicated Hilleshg sales representatives. We've put on Adam Hansen in the Mindak, southern Minnesota area. So Adam is a brand new sales agronomist for us. So we're quite excited to have Adam on board. We are just finalizing another new hire in the Amalgamated and Western North area. So that will be announced here shortly as well. So it's for us, our people are critical. We need to make sure we have the right individuals to help run our business, service our growers, and really give us the direction that we need to make the right decisions for future investments.
Tyler, stick around. We'll introduce you to the two new ads here in Michigan toward the end of our feature here. So stick around and make sure that nothing happens to those beets while we're gone, okay?
All right, Terry, we'll do.
All right. Before we get to that, Doug, why don't we bring in Daniel Bublitz? He's with the MSU Sugar Beet Advancement. He's the sugar beet specialist. Daniel, first of all, good morning. Nice to see you. And second of all, some of the challenges, the growing season, the diseases. What have we seen here in Michigan from your perspective as working with the Sugar Beet Advancement?
Well, good morning, Terry. It's very nice to be here today. So, like every year, weather definitely did play a big role in the sugar beet development this year. So, as Doug mentioned, we had a really nice spring starting off. We actually got a lot of beets planted in March and early April. But then we did have that freezing temperatures that came in, and because of that, we had to do a lot of replanting. Then after that, we had a lot of wet weather that came in all through May and then the very beginning of June. Then later into June and then the early part of August, we had some dry weather throughout the co-op. After that, though, it's been pretty nice, and really the crop is in excellent condition at this point.
Doug, as far as your perspective, agree, disagree? What have you seen?
Absolutely. It's been 2020 has been a challenging year, to say the least. And from the times the first plot was planted, it was cold and windy, and we had to do it with a skeleton crew, and it wasn't the first time we were in a field planting, or wasn't gonna be. So I think one field we replanted at least twice in a trial, and there was a couple I think that Daniel lost just due to the freeze and that. The only thing I would add is early on when we had a number of 3-inch, 2-inch rains back to back, that we've seen a lot of AF and confounded with Rhizoctonia set in early on, but then progressively through the season, the plant outgrew it.
Daniel, as far as your perspective goes with replants, how successful were they?
Quite successful. Yep, it seems like most of the replants came up in very good condition. We had very good emergence conditions as far as weather goes after that. So a lot of the replants came up very nicely, and they're in really pretty good shape. So, and then Doug also mentioned a little bit about disease, and we have been seeing some disease around. So as Doug mentioned, in some fields in particular, we've seen more Rhizoctonia than we have in previous years. And then also we've been seeing more Fusarium out and about this year than we have previously. And so that's really been an emerging issue in the state to keep an eye on going forward. Interestingly, though, another big disease that we have is Leucospora leaf spot. And this year, it really came on fairly late, and the levels have been a lot lower than what they normally have been. So we're really happy about that.
So
Yeah, I would
moving
say-
forward, Daniel. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Doug.
No, I was going to say, Terry, the growers have did a phenomenal job on Cercospora control this year. They were on top of their sprays, and you know, we've seen some pretty tough looking fields in years past, and you just don't see them this year. We've got a good, healthy crop out there that's continuing to grow.
So as far as moving forward, Daniel, there's some fields out there that aren't going to be touched for a while. What should growers be aware of, and what should they pay special attention to?
Well, in terms of Cercospora management, it really depends on the amount of disease that you currently have in the field and the variety that you have planted there. So if you have a susceptible variety planted, you should definitely consider spraying that at least once more before the season's out. But if you have a resistant variety, then you can consider maybe not doing any more applications. Then, of course, if you can find Cercospora in your field, then you should again consider spraying that. But if you aren't really seeing it, then you can probably get away without doing any more applications.
All right. Daniel, thank you very much. We really appreciate your expertise, and you're readily available anytime for our producers. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, probably the best way to get a hold of me is by email. My email is Bublitz, spelled just like my last name, at msu.edu, or they can call me at 989-392-7805.
Very good. Daniel, you have a great day. Thank you very much for sharing. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Terry. Glad to be here.
You bet. Doug, why don't we join up now with Ryan and Melissa Shaw. Tell us a little bit about their farming operation, Doug.
Well, Ryan and Melissa has been a good customer now for a couple of years. They've taken over the farm. They've worked with their mom and dad in the past, and they've taken over the farm. And I believe, I don't want to put words into Ryan's mouth, but I think they like the Hilleshg brand because of the disease tolerance, one, and our high sugar content, two. They're real progressive. They try different things. Melissa's very active on the farm and really holds the most important job on the farm, and that's running the defoliator for the harvest crew.
Tell us a little bit about your operation, Ryan and Melissa.
We're doing things a little different. We're leaving so much residue out there. We need a very good seed to put out there. We're nurturing some of our soil health back, and we like sticking with the Hilleshg because we get that disease tolerance, and it mitigates a lot of that pressure that we have. Across the field, the better.
Okay, where your audio was moving in and out just a little bit, Melissa. Can you reiterate what Ryan mentioned and also give us your perspective? Okay.
Right, like he was saying, we do have a lot of residue from strip tilling and cover crops, so we rely heavily on the disease package they give us. And with the added soil health, we try to push sugar as much as we can. I mean, we try to push tonnage as well, but sugar is our main focus because we're growing sugar. So we like Hilleshg because they're really sweet and we get the good disease package.
How many acres do you have in, Ryan and Melissa?
We have 350 this year, close to 400.
Is that more than what you have had, or about the same?
We try to grow about 300 acres every year. This year we actually grew more than normal. We grew all the shares that we do own, and fitting it into our rotation. Still, we were capable of a 4 to 5 year rotation, so we went with our full production this year.
Any particular varieties, guys, that really stand out that you like this year?
The 9865 is doing really well for us, and we've tried a few new, we have a couple acres that need nematode, so we use the 9879 on that, and then we've tried 2 new varieties this year, the 2238 and the 2240, so we're looking forward to seeing how those yield for us.
Doug, as far as those varieties are concerned, have they been pretty good proven varieties for many producers?
9865 is relatively new. And we've had a couple good years of results with that variety. 2238 is a first year limited approval variety, and it's looking real well in the trials. We've seen a field that was underwater for 7 days during the flood back in June. And we were just standing in that field last week, and it's amazing. There's probably more beets lost from washing soil away from all the water that moved through the field than actually any disease beets. So 2238 is looking very good. Early results are 24 to 26 ton and carrying some excellent sugars, around 16.5, 16.6 sugars. So very encouraging on those two new varieties.
So Ryan and Melissa, have you been involved in the early harvest, the pre-harvest, and what are you seeing right now?
Oh, we participated in the first round dig, but we actually got rid of the rest of our slots. We like to leave our beets out for as long as possible to get that extra sugar, and we're trying to grow quality enough beets that we figure they're good storing, long-term storage beets that we're not afraid to put them in the pile for making sugar later in the season. So
Yeah, and I'd say those 60 acres we did early, it was very dry. Actually, after our first dig, we finally got some very needed rain. So that was low on tonnage, is one of our decisions to keep the rest till permanent pile. Get some of those extra rains.
So where is your farm located?
Like Decker and Snover mainly.
Okay, so you take to the Croswell plant? Is that where you go?
So that we head west with them.
Okay, all righty. Well, folks, thank you very much for joining up with us. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks, Jerry.
Hey, and I'm sorry if we gave you too much rain and then not enough rain. You know, it's average doesn't seem to work for some people. You know,
We take what we can get.
I guess so. The good Lord willing, right? Hey, folks, thanks a lot. You have a great day and a safe harvest. Okay.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Thanks, guys.
Doug, some good folks there over in the Decker area. Let's slide a little bit over to another farm. The next farm that we're going to be talking about is Dave and Sally. Where are they located?
I guess you would say the Deckerville area. Would that be close enough, Dave and Sally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're from the Deckerville area. Me and Sally, we're actually fifth generation farmers. We farm with our daughter and son-in-law, separated off from current other brothers and fathers, but we all get along. It's just getting too many people in the same basket. So yeah, we grow beets every third year. We do wheat, dry beans, and beet rotation. It's worked very well for us, and we're very fortunate that we have as many seed companies out there to choose varieties from. So, and Hilleshg is one of them. We've only grown the 9865. We've had pretty good luck with it. So we're happy to be in the beet business.
Sally, what's it like to be married to a sugar beet grower?
It's a pretty good life.
It is, yeah. It gets a little crazy this time of the year, though, doesn't it?
Sure does. We were happy to see some of those rains also. We were a little bit dry earlier, and since it started raining, our beets have put on tonnage also.
Well, and that's my next point. You were participating in the pre-harvest, I assume.
Yes, we're big fans of the pre-harvest, so we like it. Gets a lot of our work out of the way. We can get a cover crop put down on top of the beets, and we think the pre-harvest program's fair. So yeah, we like the pre-harvest. And our people,
Tonnage wise, sugar wise, where are you at right now with the pre-harvest? What have you seen?
We were really dry in July and August, so we are right at average for company wide this year. And we feel very fortunate to be there, to be honest with you, because of our dry weather. But it looks like Michigan sugar is probably going to have its biggest crop. A little low on sugar right now, I think, for average, but tonnage wise, it's right up there. So if we can get the sugar to come on the rest of the year, this should be a very good year for Michigan sugar.
Sally, in charge of the books, I know. Tell me, are sugar beets profitable for you, your operation?
Well, they're historically our most profitable crop. Sugar beets are. And we'd like to see more profit from the sugar beet industry and from the company. So 9865 is part of our calculation in that. But, you know, Mother Nature, she always likes to throw things at you also. And this year we had a freeze event in our area that some of our acres were also involved in. And when we realized our freeze event, it was just before Memorial Day weekend when people are going on vacation. And we were very happy with Hilleshg service during that time when we were very concerned about our sugar beets. You know, farmers are all, you know, they'll do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Well, that was the weekend that we were trying to decide, did we need to replant sugar beets now? What was the problem? You know, we had some freeze damage. What was the problem? And Hilleshg was out there to assess our beets and see just what our problems were. This was a new field that we had rented for the first time, and trying to determine, that's always the tricky thing to do, trying to determine what is the cause of that issue in those acres.
Doug, that's got to make you feel pretty good to have service and to be able to offer that service to some really, really good folks that understand their farming operation.
It really is. I appreciate the opportunity, and you know, an old adage is you never put off what you can do today till tomorrow. So whenever me or I try to train my agents to, when they receive a call, act on it immediately, because these are big decisions. They're hard decisions that the growers have to make. There's a lot at risk. So we try to give our best advice we can. Ultimately, the decision is up to the growers. But they always like to hear from a third party and get different opinions. And the hybrid people, Terry, I can't tell you, probably 28 years ago, my agent in that area had a family emergency. So I took off into that area and wrote orders and did seed delivery. And, you know, all our growers are really nice. But I must say that the Deckerville area, they opened up their doors and they treated me like family, fed me if I showed up around lunchtime and that. And I can't say enough about the nice people around the Deckerville, Sandusky area.
That's a great
David,
part of your life.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Dave and Sally, I know where to go if I need lunch.
Sure thing, Terry. You're always welcome at our kitchen table.
I gotta tell you, if I'm cooking it, you're probably eating cereal, because I like cereal.
David, Sally, thank you very much for sharing. We really appreciate it, and safe harvest, okay?
All right, thank you.
You betcha. Doug, again, it all goes back to the service aspect of it. And I understand that we have some new folks on the roster for this year and for years to come.
Yeah, I sure hope so, Terry. You know, I've got a pretty big pair of shoes to fill up in that area around your old stomping grounds. And you might know the guy, Rob Henney, after 28 years of service, has decided to retire and maybe ride his Harley a little bit more and do some fun things. And with that big pair of shoes to fill, I truly believe we found a nice, hard, young group of people that's going to service the growers well and do an excellent job for Hilleshög. They've been great customers, see the value in Holland sugar and with the Hilleshög varieties, and we look forward to working with Jake and Jed Bushy.
Yeah, why don't we bring them up right now? Jed, who right now is on the farm, and Jake, who's in his final year at Michigan State University. Guys, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
They were doing fantastic. Jed, tell me why. When Doug Ruppel came to you and said, "Hey, I want you to sell," why'd you take it on?
Right. So, my dad, he's been growing Hilleshög for years, and he's really instilled in Jake and I the benefit of growing sugar and the disease package that Hilleshög has to offer. So when this opportunity came about, Jake and I jumped at it. We're really excited to get involved with that, work with other farmers, and just try to promote, Hilleshög in our growing area to ultimately, help Michigan sugar be sustainable for future generations.
How many acres you put in, Jed?
This year we have 600 acres of sugar beets in the ground.
You're going to be busy right up through the end of October.
Yep. Most likely.
Hopefully it ends then.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, good to have you along. What are you picking up from your older brother here?
I'm picking up on quite a bit, but kind of to go along with Jed said, I think something that's going to be important that both of us bring to the table with this new opportunity is that we're both diverse in what we know and what we do. Like myself, I'm going into agronomy and learning that right now, and I've really enjoyed doing that and kind of looking as we go forward and servicing our growers in our grower region. I really want to come at it from an agronomic standpoint to show the benefit, with Hilleshög, with what their disease package has and how we can implement that into actual decisions on the farm and what that looks like for them. It comes down to the bottom dollar.
How active have you been on the farm, Jake?
Very active, and especially this year. We had a little bit of a change on our farm, and my brother and I were definitely the ones kind of leading the pack as to what's going on. So in terms of this year, I did all of the all the management for the crop inputs and just doing all the spraying. So I was out there, scouting, making sure that we had some clean beets, didn't want to see any disease, and timing our applications correctly.
Doug, give me your thoughts. What do you think of these two guys? Are they going to represent the company pretty good?
Well, you hear a lot about the Generation X and the millennials and stuff, but I can't say as these guys fit into any of those categories because they're hardworking. They go to school, work on the farm. Jed also has a tiling company and works on the farm as well. We need more young people like this to step up and take a challenge and willing to challenge taking on the seed industry as well.
So, Jed, if you had a message to the growers out there right now, what would it be?
I think it'd be, stick through it. There's been a little talk about profitability being down in the sugar industry. I know a lot of smaller beet growers have, left the industry, and it's kind of got consolidated a little bit. So to those out there, I would say, look towards Hilleshög. They have to offer a lot of good disease packages, sugar, and ultimately sugar is going to be what makes you more profitable, as a producer. So
obviously history is the proof, and Doug, from what I'm gathering, these two guys are walking in on a pretty good product.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Like everything, it takes hard work and communication and relationships in this business is key. And I think these guys have a good foothold in the community and will do a good job for us.
Jake, good luck on the final few months or whatever of your education down at MSU. Go green.
Go white. Thanks, Terry.
There you go. Jed, thanks a lot for sharing. Really appreciate it. You take care. Safe harvest, all right?
All right. Thanks. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
You bet.
Guys.
Doug, let's bring Tyler back in here to close things out. Anything in particular that Tyler should share with our growers this during this broadcast?
Well, I tell you what, I think first of all, we would like to thank everybody within the Michigan growing area, our customers this year and in the past, and certainly there's been some challenging times in the sugar industry in the 2019 seasons throughout the U.S. And we certainly wish everybody great success for this upcoming year. I think it looks like a nice crop in the Michigan market, and we hope it's a prosperous and everybody has a safe and successful harvest.
Show us some of those big, beautiful beets out there, Tyler.
All right, we'll take a look.
Want to get a good look at them. There, Doug. You think we got a few that can match those?
Oh, we can always do better than those guys, Terry. It's an ongoing battle, right? Who's better and who's got the best? We always kid throughout the industry, but I guess if I was going to say anything, Terry, Hilleshg is really the newest thing in the sugar beet industry. 3 years ago, we were purchased by a company called DLF, and Tyler, I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit, but we're the newest, oldest company in the sugar beet seed business, and we've got some great support through DLF, and it's been a great company to work for. And I think from our agents to our customers, they've seen this change and seen the direction that we're going, and it's been very positive.
Tyler, any comment?
Yeah, no, I think we're about 3 years into our new ownership with DLF. They have invested in us. We mentioned earlier investing in people. People are critical to have the right individuals, not only to put them on board, but to invest in their education, their training is critical, number one. But they've also have invested in us from a capital perspective of what we've done at our seed plant and right through expanding our R&D activities. Michigan is an area that we're going to put additional focus on in the coming years. Jed had mentioned about the importance of sugar content. Certainly, Sacaspra is a big need. Those are two areas when we talk about what are the needs in Michigan. That Michigan sugar comes back to us of the importance of packing sugar and the importance of controlling Sacaspra. And fortunately, that aligns nicely with our genetic package. And we are putting our breeders down that road to continue to improve on that as we move forward. And the relationship that we've had with DLF has been a successful one, and we look forward to the years to come.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a delight. You shed a little light on the sugar beet industry here in Michigan and in other parts of the country. Again, Michigan is fourth as far as how states rank when it comes to sugar beet production. Tyler, out in your area, I have to assume you're ahead of Michigan as far as the ranking goes. The number one state in the country as far as sugar beet production, what state would that be? Guys, do you know?
That would be Minnesota, would be number one.
Minnesota.
Yep.
Should have known.
No.
Guys, thanks a lot.
It's an important area, certainly here in Minnesota, but yeah, as is Michigan. They're all important, Terry.
Yep, and so is production, and so is quality seed, and that's where Hilleshg comes in. Again, guys, thanks a lot for sharing. Really appreciate it. Have yourself a great day, and safe harvest to both of you, all righty?
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks for your time, Terry.